And we are going live all about the end of cross-border hiring, Deregulation Act changes, explained, ideas, guesses, because we don't actually know what is happening in the future of the private hire trade. So I thought it'd be quite interesting to get your opinion of what might be happening. Talk about a few of the rumours that are happening, and anything really to do with cross-border hiring, the Deregulation Act, etc., etc. So that's my idea of the live today. Just literally talk about it. What's people's feelings and opinions? I know a lot of people actually think the way it is now is amazing. I know a lot of people hate the way it is now and they want it changing. So it's a good point of discussions, isn't it? Easy, is Uber dead in January, February? Yes, easy. Uber is dead generally up to Valentine's. Then it's busy on Valentine's, and then probably your next big one is Mother's Day in March. But generally, the first few months of the year, it is pretty dead, matey. It is. To be honest, mate, the airports and everything's pretty dead. Pretty quiet, mate, this time of year. Yeah, so what you're meant to do, Easy, is you're meant to smash it during the busy months and then put your money away. A lot of drivers go away in January and February, mate. While the work's that dead. Good morning, everybody. How are we? It is 10 a.m. and the live stream is kicking off. Gonna be staying live till like 11:30, midday, something like that. Yeah, a lot of people obviously aren't happy about Wolverhampton and being in and around the cities. And to be honest, it's not the Wolverhampton drivers' fault. It's not even the Wolverhampton council's fault to a certain degree. It's actually the laws and regulations' fault. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people blame Wolverhampton drivers. And I know a lot of Scousers in Liverpool that are Wolverhampton plated because they took that easier, quicker option at the time. So yeah, sometimes Wolverhampton gets a lot of hate. And sometimes it's not even the driver's fault. They're just taking advantage of that loophole. Do you know what I mean? Morning, morning, morning. What is new update? There's no new update, mate. We're just talking about the current situation with it. There's no new updates, no new changes. It's just talking about how it may change in the future and what's your opinion of it as well. Morning, Joe. You all right, lad? I love February, mate. Nice and quiet. Finally get some rest before the summer airport rush. Ryan, you are right, mate. January, February is a bit of a slug, innit? You got to put that money away, haven't you? For these months, these quiet months, mate. And try and save. Is Wolverhampton coming to an end or is it here to stay? No one knows, mate. No one knows. We're just literally talking about what if. We're just talking about what if. Myself personally, I don't think Wolverhampton will end. I think Wolverhampton will stay, but I think things will change in the future. So I think nothing will really change currently, but I think in the future, I think it'll stop it from happening, if you get me. Like a one license all, or you know what I mean? You bring the standards up across all councils, so there's no need to jump ship to a different council. Do you know what I mean? Between an E-Class and a Tesla Model 3, which is better? In my opinion, Model 3. Especially if you can home charge, mate. I always get the bills paid up in these months due to the busy year. Oh, mate, honestly, God, people don't plan. And if you don't plan for January, February on the taxis, you're a madman. It's always been dead this time of year. Always. Morning, Stewie. Morning, no likes. You all right, mate? It's not going to happen, mate. They fought this for years. I know. Can I not work with Wolverhampton plate? No, you can still work Wolverhampton plate. Morning, Mickey. Morning, Barry. Morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Barry, something needs to happen. Our council has strict rules about what vehicles we can use when we have 2013 plate Vauxhall Astras living and working in the area, plated by a different council, does me head in. Barry, that's one of the main gripes of the cross-border hiring. Some councils have like a 5-year age limit. The car can only be white. So many mad rules. And then yet working in the same area, the same city, you got a 15-year-old car with no stickers because they don't need door signs. And that's the big gripe, is fairness and equality when it comes to cross-border hiring. So you hit the nail on the head there, Barry. I think that's a lot of people's gripes. Because I know a lot of local people are Wolverhampton plated or are out of area plated just because the badge was easier, quicker or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But it's still causing conflicts, like you said, Barry. I pop on YouTube, blame David Cameron, and he's the one who brought the cross-border change in after investing millions in Uber before leaving the government. Yeah, sounds about right, mate. Commuter on YouTube, how are we, mate? Good morning, Matty. I slightly disagree with you on Wolverhampton. Yes, the law is the law, but Wolverhampton Council took advantage of the loophole for monetary gain. So the wind reaped the whirlwind. So, commuter, you are right. You are right. They mass scaled it, didn't he? Maybe not more the council, but I'm saying the drivers. The drivers get a lot of hate. Do you know what I mean? And the drivers just took that easy way out, didn't he? If I was going to be a private hire driver last year, when obviously Wolverhampton was a bit easier, and I'll go like, I need to be a taxi driver. I've got Liverpool, who still has a knowledge test. I have Liverpool and Sefton, and Knowsley and Sefton, who are quite delayed and quite slow. Or I can have a badge in 2 weeks. There's no licenses. It's dead easy. The car can be old, etc., etc., etc. I'll go to Wolverhampton. So they went to Wolverhampton, come back to Liverpool and worked. Do you know what I mean? So you can't fault the drivers. Do you get me? It was the quickest and easiest way at the time. So it is. It's a bit of a difficult scenario. It's a bit of a difficult situation, guys. Yeah, live. I'm doing well, mate. Thank you. More Newcastle plates in Sunderland and Sunderland. Gordon, I've heard Newcastle is the new Wolves. Yeah, Barry has just put Newcastle Council, the up and coming new Wolves. I have heard Newcastle plated cars are everywhere in the northeast. Is that right? Because don't forget, you can't have Wolverhampton and Newcastle on Uber because it's a separate region. So sounds to me that Newcastle started to become the new Wolves of the northeast. Is that right or wrong? Let me know. So have the likes and follows, guys. Much appreciated. How much real life range does the Tesla Model 3 get? It depends which one you get, mate. If you get the long range one, it's brilliant. Is it what's it, 300, 250, 300 mile plus? I've seen Wolverhampton working in Middlesbrough. Yeah, but they won't be on Uber, mate. It's impossible for them to be on Uber. They'll be on Bolt or they'll be on a local company. Seeing them working for local company. That's it, mate, because they can't work on Uber. Uber still has regions, mate. The head of licensing wants 10,000 Newcastle plates, apparently. That's the rumour. What? Gosh, mate, we have Wolverhampton plated cars in Cambridge. Yeah, mate, but he won't be on Uber. They'll be on Bolt or a local company. Morning, Boris. Ben, there's no changes as of yet, mate. This is talking about possible changes in the future. And if you would like the changes or not like the changes, mate. Nothing's confirmed or nothing. Durham plates can work in Newcastle, Sunderland and Middlesbrough. Morning, MJ. No trucking today. No, mate, I couldn't be bothered setting it up. Yeah, I couldn't be bothered setting it up, mate. So I'm just live streaming TikTok on my lappy on a separate computer. I had a private hire in Scotland. We don't have cross-border hiring at all. You have to return to the area where you were plated. The licensing was very hard, consistently. on the road checking, move to Tameside, and it's a free-for-all. Yeah, I've heard Scotland has actually stopped cross-border hiring, haven't they? So you've got to return to your licence area after dropping off. And that's even on Uber, by the way. Especially in Glasgow, and I don't know if Edinburgh or Edinburgh's looking at it. And also, I'm pretty sure that they restrict either badges or plates or vehicles in Glasgow and stuff like that to try and control their private hire, which I think is a positive thing. What do you reckon? Trevor and Facebook. If it's been discussed for years but nothing gets done, personally, I want to move house in the near future. The last thing I want to do is wait several months for a new license in a new area. For me, cross-border isn't such a bad thing. Also, my area isn't that many of them, East London. However, the number increases when you go into Essex. Wow. Is a surgeon in London? In Liverpool? No idea, matey. Probably not. It's 10 a.m. on a Monday. So I don't think so. Can you say if Uber pension is worth it? To be honest, mate, I don't know. In my personal opinion, I opted out straight away. But I weren't planning on working Uber up until I retire. Do you get me? So I didn't really want to put in a pension for like 2-3 years and then leave the trade or do whatever. So it's totally up to you. The only thing I do know is that Uber pension, they do contribute earnings to it. So financially, you get more out the pension than you put in. But with Uber pension, it's just like any pension. Do you know what I mean? You might be dead before you can claim it. Do you know what I mean? So it's totally up to you. That is a properly good question, Boris. So thanks for that, mate. They won't stop cross-bordering, but they can stop drivers working this way. That's it, Kitty. There's loads of things they can do with cross-border hiring. Do you know what I mean? The main thing that they're looking at is they're looking at making a national standard. So all national standards, right, are raised equally. So if I was in Liverpool, there's no point in me going to Wolverhampton if Liverpool, Sefton and Knowles had the same test, that was the same speed, was the same cost. So I think that's the way they're going for. If they're going to raise the standards so it's equal for everyone, that's one way they're going to look at doing it. The other way to stop cross-border or the Deregulation Act is putting the power into the transport authorities instead of the councils. So at the moment, you've got the councils, which is like hundreds of councils up and down the country, controlling rules and regulations. If you put it into the transport authority, there's only 70 different transport authorities across England. So they're looking at giving them the power to dictate the taxi license instead of the councils, which will then obviously make the areas bigger. So that's where the idea of a Merseyside plate might come in, or even a Greater Manchester plate might come in. We don't know. Same again. All rumours. You can put 5% and Uber pay 3% in their pension. Right. You can cash your pension at 55. We're gonna make to 55. Time for all the likes and follows, by the way. Much appreciated. It does help me massively. Wolverhampton allowed the disparity to continue for profit. Drivers took the easiest route. These selfish acts have caused problems that have spiraled into national community. I've said from day one that was the beginning of the downfall of the private hire and Uber and the taxis. As soon as we started noticing what was going on, that's when it happened. Because I've said loads of times, I always use Liverpool as an example because I obviously live in Liverpool. But in Liverpool, we've got mainly Liverpool, Sefton and Knowsley. We've got 3 councils. Just say they can produce 100 badges a week. So 100 new drivers. So every week there's a consistent 100 new drivers coming into the Merseyside region, right? And then what happened was, on average, about 100 would leave. Yeah? Sick of the job, moved jobs, retired, whatever. So it was always balanced over the years. Then when cross-border hiring went massive with other councils, as an example, Wolverhampton, instead of 100 new drivers coming into Liverpool, there was 150 or there was 200 new drivers coming into Liverpool, because then it's Liverpool, Sefton, Knowsley, and now Wolverhampton. So instead of 100 going in, 100 going out, there's now 200 coming in and 100 going out. And that's where it got flooded. And then obviously Uber region was for Liverpool, was just Liverpool and Manchester. It was Northwest. And because the Wolverhampton drivers had nowhere to go on Uber, they joined our regions, West Midlands and Northwest. And that's one of the main problems, guys. And I think that is one of the main problems, what happened. Pre-COVID, 4 or 5 years ago, before we joined the West Midlands region, it was brilliant. Back in the day, it was fantastic. Does the industry see a huge rush to the bottom of the barrel by people offering lower and lower fares? Not sure where the industry is going. Yeah, that's the way it's looking, Victor. But I've done business for years, mate. I've been self-employed, I've owned businesses, etc., etc. And that is not a good business model. It's never a good business model. Do you know what I mean? There's never a good business. Cheap is not always best. Because what happens if you go too cheap and you're not covering your expenses and you haven't got much profit to build your business and get it growing, you're just going to stall. I know loads of private hire companies that are just existing because they're more or less breaking even and just a tiny, tiny little profit, trying to be as cheap as possible. And sometimes that affects how good of a service you can put on. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm looking around drivers and stuff, and like one driver would be 85 quid. Do you know what I mean? But there's a 80% chance he'll turn up. Oh, you got another driver at 100 quid, and he's got 5 drivers to back up the other driver, and he's 100% he's going to get picked up. I'd rather go for the 100 quid. Do you know what I mean? Cheaper's not always best, but for some reason, that's the mentality these days. And in business, it's just not a good business model. Matty, is Uber busy in Liverpool? Not too sure, mate, but I can more or less guess it's a no, because it's 10 a.m. on a Monday in February. And I don't know if you're aware, January and February, some of the worst months on the private hire taxis and Uber. Tar for your likes and follows, guys. Appreciate it. Before COVID, I was busy. Since then, it's been hard ever since. Yeah, mate. The trade never fully returned. Remember your morning rushes? Before COVID, you're literally taking people to the offices, you're taking people to the 9 till 5s and everything else. After COVID, when everyone started working from home, all that vanished. I noticed it massively because I literally used to do the morning rush hour and the afternoon rush hour. That's all I used to do, and then work the weekends. So after COVID returned and everyone was working from home and everyone weren't going to the offices and stuff like that, the morning rush hours died massively. And I still don't think they fully returned. I really don't. I know people now, after all these years, are still working from home or working part-time or just working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or whatever. Do you know what I mean? COVID killed the morning rush hour and the taking people to work. 100% they did. I was 150 quid a month for my insurance. Am I overpaying? For private hire, Boris, no. It's more or less spot on that, mate. You're probably looking about 150 to 200 quid a month in insurance for private hire, mate. The only way to fix cross-border hiring is make a single national standard. However, the issue of numbers of licenses in particular area will continue. Who will stop oversaturation of the drivers? So, commuter, if they brought out a full license rules and regulations that every council's got to follow, I think that'll work for the future. But now, there's a problem now, isn't there? And that's not going to fix the future, realistically. I reckon a good way of fixing it is if they brought out a Merseyside plate or a Greater Manchester plate and then went back old Hackney way, where you can only pick up or drop off in that big area. Like what Scotland's done. I think that'll work. Do you know what I mean? Or it depends on where you live more than what plate you're at. Because I know a lot of Liverpool lads who are in Wolverhampton live in Liverpool, work in Liverpool. So you could maybe go, right, you've got 2 years to get your local badge or whatever. There's loads of stuff you could do. I just don't know what they'll do. That's the thing. Thomas, you all right, mate? My insurance is 170 quid a month. Yeah, it's about right, mate. 150 to 200 quid a month. Morning, guys. Morning, everyone. Time for tuning in, guys. Good little stream on today. Loads of people have jumped in. Much appreciated. Uber doesn't care about drivers on the road. That's why you see small cars on the road. No, mate, Uber doesn't control the size of the cars, mate. A lot of people say that. They blame Uber for the small cars. It's not. Uber will allow any vehicle that your council allows to be plated. So it's not Uber's fault that you got tiny cars on the road. It's the council's fault allowing the tiny cars. Do you know what I mean? If you see a Toyota Yaris Uber or a Wolverhampton or whatever, it's not the Uber's fault in that sense. The operator doesn't control what size vehicle is licensed. The councils do. So when you got the Toyota Yaris, the Ford Focus, the Hyundai i10, the Renault Zoe, all them are licensed because of the councils. Skoda Fabia, and it's the councils are allowing them. So that's not. I'll defend Uber in that sense. That's not Uber doing that. It's the councils, mate. There should definitely be a minimum standard in size. I couldn't even get in the back of a Renault Zoe even if I tried physically. And I'm not booking an Uber XL because I'm big. You can jog on. Robbie, all right, mates. Do you think councils are going to have to step up to force Uber to get a grip on treating taxi drivers better? The only way you can stop Uber, if you want to stop Uber, is the councils, is legislation, is the laws. That's the only way you can control. Look what happened with Southend. Is it Southend Council, guys? Southend Council said, Uber, you can have an operator's license here. There you go. But here are the rules and regulations you've got to follow. Uber got the operator's license after 2 months and went, this is too strict. And then give the operator license back to Southend Council. So that just proves Southend Council can or try to restrict Uber. Uber didn't like it. Retain the ops license, but can still work in that area because of cross-border hiring. If every council come out who control an Uber's operator's license and up their standards or up their whatever, then Uber's got to follow those rules and regulations of the operator's license. Do you know what I mean? Southend done it. Uber jibbed them off, but they can still work. Uber can still operate in Southend because of cross-border hiring. So it's who knows what's going on, guys? It's just mental, mate. It is just mental. Southend is all Hackney plates too, is it? Yeah, yeah. Honestly, we just need one rule across the board that'll massively help. I really think you got to have literally at least one rule. What do you reckon, guys? How's DM going? It's going well, mate. It's ticking over. Same again, mate. It's quiet. I'm getting a few little jobs here and there, but it's more for the summer and stuff like that, mate. It is very quiet this time of year, matey. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, TM airport transfers are ticking over, mate. But yeah, it's just a quiet time of year, mate. You know what's funny? Everyone goes a bit mental, don't they, this time of year? The game's ruined. It's awful. It's terrible. It's whatever. And yeah, in the end, thanks Victor for the 99 stars, mate. Appreciated. Thank you. But in the end, mate, in the end, it is just a time of year. Even when it was really busy back in the day with Uber and general taxis and stuff like that, January was always been dead. Even before COVID, when Uber was brilliant and private hire was brilliant, it was still dead in January and February. Do you know what I mean? It picks up from Valentine's onwards, but that's if the strikes don't happen. But yeah, February's always been quiet, guys. I don't know how the Toyota CHR is allowed to be plated. Robert, there's loads of cars, mate. I can't get over some of the cars. Do you know what I mean? Which one was it? I'd done a TikTok. I felt guilty. Get on this, guys. I was bladdered. Yeah, there was 4 of us, and we got an Uber X home, right? And I got an Lexus CT. I don't know if you know what a Lexus CT is, guys, but it's a tiny flipping car. And I got in it, and I had to have my head out the rear window because I couldn't get inside or underneath the car. So I was literally driving home like that, and he ended up filming it, and I felt that mean on the driver, like, but because the driver knew me. Oh God! But literally, I had my head out the window, bladdered like that, going, I can't, you know what I mean? Because it was just that small. And that's not even one of the smallest, guys. It is mental, mate. Let me see if I can get the Lexus CT up. This fell, honest to God, mate, I had to drive all the way home with my head out the window. Let me show you this. That there, the Lexus CT 200, it nearly broke my neck. It nearly broke my neck, guys. Honestly, it was crazy. Honestly. Oh, God. Yeah, you should definitely get bigger cars. But obviously, realistically, I am a tall guy. I'd cancel a small vehicle on Uber. But the thing is, though, Bart, you shouldn't have to cancel a small car on Uber. All cars should take 4 passengers. Do you know what I mean? All cars should take 4 passengers. You're licensed for 4 passengers. You've got to take 4 passengers. You've got to. Yes, I am a large passenger. I am. But you should still take 4 passengers. You should be. It's a legal requirement. Ben, Liverpool Council has a minimum size requirement. Does no? Liverpool, you can get a Toyota Yaris on Liverpool, mate. They do take 4 passengers, 4 foot. Honestly, mate, mental. A lot of drivers just go outside their area to get a PH license because it's cheaper, no restrictions on the age limit of the car, etc., etc. 100% whack. And it's not the driver's fault doing that. The council should all have the same rule and regulations, so you don't have to run around and go into different ones. Cross-border hiring could kill the industry. Some places need the cross-border hiring to actually get a cab. That's very true, Kevin, as well, mate. As well, very good point, good point. Will driverless cars actually kill the game? No. Not for years and years and years, mate. I really, 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 really don't think it'll go even close to killing the game. Matty, the worst thing is what that Lexus CT is comfort. No, it's not. Is the Lexus CT a comfort car? It can't be. Lad, honestly. Is anyone really annoyed by the HMRC not adjusting the mileage charge you can claim? 45p for 10k, then 25p per mile after that. And it's not been changed since 2014. They are killing the self-employed. Victor, you are right. They should up that. But to be honest, mate, my accountant's always told me not to not claim mileage and actually claim repairs and stuff like that. My accountant's always said to me, and it's probably for that reason that they haven't upped it. But my accountant has always said you should report your repairs, your maintenance, your servicing costs, your fuel costs. Don't do the blanket per mile thing, because in the end, I think the HMRC win. Boris, you need a triple X car. Mate, I do. Big boy, aren't I? Robert, hello, mate. I'm seriously considering my changing my car, even though it's just being plated. I don't know if I can live with 35 to 45 mile per gallon. Robert, you hit the nail on the head, mate. That's crap miles, and you need to protect that expenses. If you can charge your own, Rob, we'll have a talk in a WhatsApp group later. But you need to look at maybe going EV. A cheap Model 3, cheap Ioniq 5, something like that, mate. Second hand with a bit of warranty on the batteries. You need to look at that, mate. It was 35 mile per gallon doing bolts and all that. It's not worth it, lad. I'm new to the trade, hello Steve, but if cross-border hiring comes into play, does that mean Liverpool plates can't pick up the likes of Wallasey, Widnes, Runcorn, Warrington? And if that's the case, you get £10 job out the way, you can't work the dead miles coming back into Liverpool. Steve, that doesn't mean that's going to happen. So stopping cross-border hiring doesn't mean that's going to happen. Anything can change within the industry with cross-border hiring, Deregulation Act. They might bring out a Merseyside plate, they might bring out a Northwest plate, they might bring out one plate for the whole of the UK. We don't know what's changing, what's going to happen, guys. Do you know what I mean? It's just all ideas. No one actually knows. It's just guessing. The thing of Wolverhampton plates in Merseyside area are that can work as well for Delta and Alpha. So the local company care about the drivers. They all care about the money. We don't know. Like I said, we just don't know, mate. We just don't know what's going on. My accountant screws me big time. Why is that, Victor? I'm starting PH in a couple of months when I retire. I love watching you guys. It gives me a great insight into the trade. What car would you recommend? I have home charging points. I'd go electric, Mark. Full electric, Model 3. Keep your expenses very, very, very low. And then at least then you can maximise your profit, matey. Paul Smith, hello lads, morning Matty lad. If a driver had a Model Y with no home charger and done 10-hour shift, how many times would you need to charge it? Approximately how much would it cost using public chargers? Thanks. Paul, I wouldn't get a Tesla Model Y, matey, if you can't home charge. Now, you can cheap charge and stuff with the rapid chargers, but it'll still work out about 10, 12p a mile, maybe a bit more if you go for the off-peak Tesla charging. And the long-range Model Y is mid 200s, 250, maybe a bit more, close to 280, depending on what age it is. So the Model Y, you could probably charge it once per day. Do you know what I mean? Maybe, if it depends how many miles you do, maybe once every 2 days. But the rapid charging ain't cheap, mate. Boris, I started last summer, 2025. When shall I submit my tax? Have Uber done it for me? Has Uber done your tax for you? No, Boris. Doesn't work like that, mate. Uber's reporting your earnings, but you're not doing your self-assessments, tax returns and stuff. But if you started last summer, your tax year hasn't ended yet. Your tax year ends in April this year, and then you got till January to submit and pay. How much can you earn a week by working 10 hours, 7 days, mate, with Uber and Alpha? Monk, you can't put a figure on it, mate, but I wouldn't double that. I wouldn't work Uber and Alpha. I'd just work Alpha and benefit from the cap commission. If you work Uber and Alpha, Alpha's got a high commission, but it's capped. So if you're working Alpha part-time, you're paying high commission. With Uber, it's uncapped commission, so you're paying high commission. So it's pointless and double lapping, in my opinion. You're just getting tanned by the commission, mate. Well, yeah, 10 hours, 7 days a week. Why would you want to be working 10 hours, 7 days a week anyway? 70 hours a week is mental, mate. Hi, Rich. Nothing's been announced, mate. This is just talking about cross-border hiring. This is talking about the Deregulation Act and what you think's best going forward. Is it good, bad? Do you want it to happen? Don't you want it to happen? Do you know what I mean? Bart, you've hit the nail on the head. If you can home charge, go electric. If you can't home charge, you're better off with a Toyota Corolla Estate, a Prius, a really good hybrid engine. That's my advice. I would never put a diesel on Uber. The running cost is just too much. The rates are that low. You cannot profit or make much running a diesel. That's why Roberts just started and he's pumping out 35 mile per gallon in a diesel running around on Bolt. So Bolt has got similar rates to Uber. So most of his money, profits, is going in diesel. You're better off. You need to get a 60, 70 mile per gallon job. You know what I mean? I have a Kia Optima Estate. What would a good car going forward if I'm going to continue? I am in Southampton doing Heathrow runs. Victor, myself personally, mate, Uber and general private hire apps and stuff, electric if you can home charge, or hybrid if you can't. If you're doing long distance airport work and you're getting good rates and good per mile rates because you work for like an operator or an airport company, diesel's fine. Diesel's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But if you're working for the apps at £1 a mile, electric or hybrid, 100%. Otherwise, you're just killing your profits. Hyundai Ioniq 5 is larger than a Tesla Model 3 and closer in size to a Model Y. Bang on, mate. The Ioniq 5 is massive. Home charging for EV Uber taxiing is a must. Model 3 rear-wheel drive is the efficiency king and works very well for me. You hit the nail on the head, commuter. You hit the nail on the head, mate. Hyundai Ioniq hybrid or electric, any good? Yeah, mate. Yeah, of course. Chisel, how are we, mate? Talking drivel again. A 1.6 TDCi, 45, 65 mile per gallon. But I'm not talking drizzle, am I? That's good mile per gallon. I'm talking about poor mile per gallons, mate. And 90% of diesels are poor mile per gallon. Do you know what I mean? Because you're driving around in a 1.6 diesel engine, getting 45 to 65 mile per gallon, that's pretty impressive. Do you know what I mean? But don't forget with diesels, Jizzle, you've got your DPF problems, you've got all the other issues. Diesel's more expensive than petrol, etc., etc. Do you get me? But in the end, mate, it's all preference. If you want to go out and work Uber in a flipping V-class, crack on. People are asking me, in my opinion, what do they think's best? So I'm giving my opinion. Doesn't make it fact, doesn't make it right. Hello, mate, join the live. Is cross-border finishing? No, mate, this is a question mark, sorry. This is the end of cross-border hiring. So it's asking you, what's your opinion on it? Do you think it's worth it? Are you happy that it might be ending? Or are you happy that it's not ending? The Deregulation Act. It's a question, mate. It's just a discussion about the live, mate. Nothing's confirmed. Nothing's bad's happening. Do you get me, mate? So the 185 quid I done yesterday, 30 quid was fuel. So that's 155, innit? And then you're over your expenses. So Rob, it's up to you, Rob. Honestly, it's up to you. But if you were at a full electric home charge and you'd done the full shift in your electric car, you probably would have been £5 on fuel. So that would have been 25 quid off one shift, saving. So if you do 6 shifts a week, do the math because I can't. 140, 150 quid a week saving just in fuel. Suzuki Swace Toyota Corolla Hybrid, 65 mile per gallon. Beautiful. Nice. My Optimen is doing 50 miles per gallon. Brilliant. Is right. I need to get ready and get on the road and make my £1 a mile. Peace out all. Thanks for tuning in, Boris. Much appreciated, mate. Thank you very much. I haven't had my Uber app on since before Christmas. 85p per mile isn't sustainable. I used the Maximo app to set £2 per mile minimum. I didn't get many pings, but those I get were worth my efforts. Nice, mate. Do whatever's best for you, mate, innit? That is the best bet. Tesla Model Y is good, but would be annoying to charge daily or whatever. Also get fleeced if you settle it. Yeah, mate, if I was you, I'd get the Model Y if you could home charge. It's big, it's spacious, it's comfortable. If you don't need that extra space, I would go for the Model 3. The Model 3 is perfect for this job. It really is. Do you know what I mean? If I was still on Uber, mate, I'd get a Model 3. That would be my, like, Uber car if I was going forward. Do you know what I mean? Morning, Matty. What do you reckon's better? Kia Hybrid, Toyota Hybrid? Marcus, that is a discussion on its own, mate. It is, mate. I like the Kia Hybrids. The Kia Niro is a massive fundamental car, but is anything knocking the Toyota Prius or the Toyota Corolla off the title? I don't know, mate. The Kia Niro was boss. I like the Kia Niro. It's a bit more SUV. It's a bit more city up, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But does the Kia Niro beat the Prius and the Corolla? That is the question. Let me know in the comments. Matty, Uber started to tell us how much they are charging a customer. It's annoying. I know, mate. I've heard. Some people don't want to know, do they? Do you know what I mean? Hi, Marty. Is the strike coming Saturday? Oh, mate, with the strikes. Is it the Valentine's one, is it? Lad, I don't know. I don't know. 5 p.m. on Saturday, innit? Oh, lad, have a day off with the strikes, guys. When are you going to leave Uber? I haven't worked Uber since September, matey. Is a pound a mile losing money? No. Depending on your expenses. Uber's model is to be cheap as chips because they're expecting you to be in an electric or a really good hybrid. You're not going to make any money on Uber bouncing around in a big E-Class Mercedes or a V-Class or a big 2-litre, 3-litre diesel. You need to be in a dead good mile per gallon car or a full electric if you can't charge your own. Definitely. All big questions, Susan, on Facebook. Let me have a read. I'm starting with Uber hopefully next week and want to make sure I have everything in order for the future. I have an Excel spreadsheet for outgoings and incomings and set up a new bank account which I'll only use solely for this so it's easy to track. I don't know what I need to do through regarding setting up things for tax reporting, etc. I am a woman and never done taxiing before and just want to give it a go part-time with my car. Got a taxi badge and just had the vehicle inspection done, so I've got to go par for signing up with Uber. Not looking at making a ton of money, just want something flexible with the kids after just getting over cancer this year. Realised life's too short to be doing a job I hated. I want to work when I want to and when I want to stop. Any advice would be appreciated. Susan, brilliant. And I made up you got over cancer. That's amazing, Susan. Good to hear. Amazing. Uber-wise, you're doing everything right so far. Myself personally, tax is getting very complicated. It's getting really complicated. I'd get an accountant. I really would. I wouldn't do it on my own. Now, you're doing right, recording income and outgoings. That's spot on. But you need to send that to an accountant. TaxMates Digital starts in April, and it just sounds so complicated. You're better off getting tax advice. I wouldn't advise you, just in case I advise wrong, Susan. Regarding working Uber, just go out and try it out yourself. Work different times, depending on where you live, and just plan it yourself. Whatever's best for one driver might not be best for the other. All right, all the best and made up for you over the cancer. You can buy a Model 3 pre-owned 22 plate for 40k for about 14, 15 grand. That'd definitely be the best play views for the job. 100% mate, right? Because that Model 3 2022 plate, so it's 4 years old, right? With 40k in the clock. If it's a long range, it's still got a 120,000 mile warranty on the batteries for another 4 years. Do you get me? They're brilliant, mate. Morning, hope everyone's good, working hard or hardly working. Morning, Marty, how are we, lad? Time for all the likes and follows, guys. Much appreciated. Yeah, the Nero's got more height, but the Corolla's got a bigger boot. Can't decide which way to go. Marcus, it is literally whatever. It's too close to call. It's preference, I'd say. The only thing I would say, I think the Nero's got the space. The Corolla's quite tight in the rear. And it also hasn't got that much of a massive boot. It's slightly bigger than the Kia, but it's nothing to cry home about. I thought the Corolla behind me, people were moaning about my seat position behind me, where they never moaned in the Kia Niro. So that Kia Niro's got a little bit extra space on the inside. Ignorance is bliss with the Uber commissions, 100%, mate. KR, how do you become a taxi driver? Apply to your local council and start the process, but my personal opinion, depending on your situation, it's not worth it, mate. There's a reasonable drivers on the Ioniq Hybrid, Kia Niro, Toyota Corolla, Prius. Yeah, they are the ultimate Uber cars, mate. Morning, Ali, you alright? Can't wait for the strike, I'll be robbing all your jobs. You're right, P. Yes, lad. Each to their own, lad. If you're striking, go for it. If you're not striking, go for it. Self-employed in the end, innit? Would a 1 litre car be good for Uber? What a random question. What car? What 1 litre car? Mate, that's a bit of a random one, okay? I'll give you that one. It all depends on your running costs. £1 per minimum is enough. My local council's minimum fare is £1.84 per mile during the day, £2 at night if you work for a local depot. That's what I mean. I think Uber's pound per mile thing makes sense if you're in the correct vehicle. That's why I say when people go, oh, don't work for Uber, I'm like, if it's working for you, go for Uber. It's great. I'm not going to tell you not to work Uber. I'm not going to advise you to work Uber. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so situational. It depends on where you live. It depends on the hours you work. It depends on if it's day or night. It depends if what car you drive. Do you know what I mean? Are you an electric, a diesel, big dirty minibus? There's too many variables to flip and say. Do you know what I mean? Just go out and do it. And if you don't like it, jib it. If you like it, happy days. That is the best advice to anyone who's just starting out as an Uber driver or thinking about leaving. That is your best advice I can give you. It's too situational. The amount of people message me and go, hey, how much will I make if it was 7 hours a year, 3 Wednesdays of the year, and then 6 months minus the 2 a.m. I haven't got a clue. Just go out and work and you'll find out. It's too hard to judge. I have a dual license. So do I, Tipu. Welcome. And I cross-border hire. Should I be allowed? Because since Wolverhampton came into the market, all councils behaving nicely and changing all BS rules, all stickers are gone. No, mate, not all councils are changing the rules and regulations, mate. Do you know what I mean? Some councils are still strict as anything. Some are a bit more lenient. Do you know what I mean? In Liverpool, every council still requires magnets. You get took off the road if you get caught working without them, mate. And then you got to prove to the council that you've got them back before they let you online. Look, it happened loads in Liverpool. You drop off the airport, right, and you're a plated vehicle and there's no door mags. They disconnect you and they cut you off from whatever company you're working with. Uber will disconnect you until you meet up with the council and go, there's my magnets. People have been missed weekends or even like 4 or 5 days worth of work because they had no magnets. And that depends on the council, where some councils don't even mind you to have magnets or not. Mad rules. What is your thought on people who didn't pay tax on Uber and their account soon will be blocked? Their account won't be blocked from Uber, mate, if they didn't pay the tax. Drivers not paying the tax has got nothing to do with Uber. No, I don't want stickers on my car. It's only magnets in the northwest, mate. No, I wouldn't want stickers in the car because when you peel the stickers off, it'll leave residue or leave stains on the car, won't it? Tesla Model Y all the way. Shout out to Matty. Max, Tesla Model Y is spot on, mate. If you don't need the extra space, I would go for the Model 3. Myself personally, mate. Because I think the Model 3 drives so much nicer. I'm a big fan of the Model 3. If I was still doing the airports, obviously, I'd pick the Model Y. If I'm not doing the airports, I'm just doing a bit of Uber, a bit of general private hire, I'd get the Model 3. I would. I really would. The cost of taxi insurance is a big risk if you don't like it. It is, Kat. It is. My Superb doing me go, Kate. Man, I love the Superbs. The Superbs are superb. I've had two, and I absolutely love the Superbs, mate. They have got a soft part in me, if you know what I mean. I love it, mate. I love it. Got my own airport transfer company. Nice, Max. That makes sense then, doesn't it, with your Model Y? Time for all likes and follows, by the way, guys. Much appreciated. It helps me out massively and it's free to do so. So if you're watching this face, anytime you see this face on any social media, you got to hit the like and you got to hit the follow. All right? That's the rules and regulations of seeing this face. Because it's free to do so. So why wouldn't you? Time for likes and follows. Appreciated. I drive one of the most economical EVs available. I have a home solar charger with home battery. £1 a mile isn't for me. It's morally insulting as Uber shareholders raking billions. So 9 danker. So yeah, so you could actually work Uber and probably profit half decent dough, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? But out of principle. Yeah. So when I got rid of the Model S and got the 730 diesel, I worked Uber once for like an hour, and then I went out the next day, went online, seen the rates, and I thought it's going to cost me more. To turn the engine on than complete that job. And then I just went, nah. Good. Reap, hey Matty, what's happening with cross-border hiring? Nothing's changing, mate. Nothing's changing. This is so every time I come out live on stream, I just have a subject to talk about that brings people in and gives us a good discussion of what to talk about, mate. So nothing's happening with cross-border hiring or the Deregulation Act as of yet. There's loads of rumours of what's happening in the future, but nothing yet, matey. Hate the signs, ruin the colours of the car. I'm insane. I see some Wolverhampton without expired dates. Yeah. Seat Arona, 1 litre, about 36 to 44 mile a gallon. 36 to 40 mile per gallon is well too little, mate, for Uber. What is a Seat Arona? The Seat Arona looks like a small SUV in a 1 litre. Me wouldn't pull you out of bed. Oh, no, lad. Don't be getting nothing like that, lad. Just get a flipping hybrid. Right, go and stand in the street car and look at private hire vehicles passing. Yeah? And go with the most popular one. That is your best thing to do when you're picking a car. Name Danke is German for no thank you. Oh, nice one. Lucky with a swear word, wasn't it? Because I read it out and I didn't even know. I shouldn't be reading unknown German out, should I? Norman on YouTube, how are we, mate? When are you going to test out the Hackneys? Listen, I've always wanted to test out the Hackneys. I've got a Hackney badge. I still might nick a Hackney for the day. Just for content. Okay? And I'll just literally work the ranks for the day. And, or for a couple of hours. And, yeah, just experience the Hackneys. Because I am dual plated. I'm Hackney and private hire. So I could. It's on the cards to do. It is on the cards to do. I know I can get a Hackney. I can lend someone's Hackney for a few hours. Temp insurance on it or whatever for the content. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because that might come. It is on the cards because it's not even like I want to do it for content. I want to do it for the experience of sitting on the rank. Do you know what I mean? Just sitting there on the rank like the OGs, mate. Because I've got people like hate Hackneys and stuff. I've got a respect for Hackneys. I grew up getting robbed by Hackneys going home while I was drunk when I was young. Do you know what I mean? So Hackneys, like the OGs, innit? Like when you think of London and you think of a vehicle, it's the London black cab, innit? Do you know what I mean? But the amount of times I got had off over the years with Hackneys, just like naming the price and charging what they want. But yeah, there was the only way, back in the day, it was the only way you could get home, is in a Hackney. It was the only way. Reaper. I'm about to prepare to do lady parts before my tests. I mean prepare, I mean autocorrect, I mean I'm about to prepare for my test. Hey, Reaper, can you keep it clean, please, mate? So you prepared your test for what, mate? Private hire or taxis? Or Hackneys? The BMW 730 is a beautiful appointed luxury wagon. Perhaps agreed in a moment of weakness, but such a lovely wagon. No, mate, I got it because I like it. So I was paying nearly £1,000 a month parked up, right? So I was parked up, doing £1,000 a month parked up, not working the cabs much. I was busy running the company. I was doing these content. So the Tesla Model S parked up was very expensive, right? The diesel 730 is super cheap to be parked up, but expensive to run. But for someone like me who's only pulling away and doing only bits and bobs, it makes more sense for me to have that vehicle. Do you get me? And I've always wanted a 7 Series. It's beautiful, mate. I absolutely love it. The 730 is a workhorse, mate. Right, my car is 13 years old and it's only got 65,000 on the clock. Starts first time, pairs like a kitten. AU on YouTube, thanks for subscribing, mate. Much appreciated, thanks for the subscribe. Honestly, mate, honestly, the 730 is beautiful. Cream leather. Oh, so bright and colourful. They'll never do cross-border hiring, let's be honest. Do you mean they'll never stop it? They might not. They might not, mate. We're just talking about ifs, buts and maybes. Do you think public rapid charger works out cheaper than petrol? No, Paul. No, matey. So, let's ballpark it for you, okay? Rapid charger costs, let's ballpark and see if it's worth it. So, if you're in a good hybrid, it's costing you 10 to 12p per mile. If you're in a dirty diesel, probably close to 15p a mile. Maybe 20p a mile, depending on the vehicle. Yeah, diesels can have a massive range, yeah? A good hybrid, 10 to 12p. Diesel would be what? One sec. Stupid TikTok. Right, listen, sorry. So let's compare rapid charging costs, okay? And how it compares to petrol and diesel, right? Because I've done loads of experience on this. I've had the Model S myself, etc., etc. A hybrid, like your Kia Niro, like your Toyota Corolla, is around 10 to 15p per mile, okay? Diesels are more 15p to 20p a mile, okay? Depending on what type of diesel is and the running costs, yeah? So when I was rapid charging, oh, by the way, home charge is around 2p a mile. That's the big difference on a good night tariff, right? But when I was rapid charging, yeah, on a good Tesla cheap charge, it was working out around 10 to 12p a mile at around 40 kilowatt, yeah? But if I'm using a non-Tesla charger, like your big grid serve ones at 80, 90p per kilowatt, it was closer to 20p a mile. So if you get a good deal rapid charge and you own an electric vehicle without home charge, you're going to be hitting around hybrid prices, around 10 to 12p per mile if you're using cheap rapid charges. So it is still sustainable. Do you know what I mean? Of having to own an electric vehicle. But it's more inconvenient, isn't it? Because that's where the problem is. I'm going to nip to the petty station and put 20 quid of diesel in. Done. If you're regularly using rapid charges, you're waiting 20 minutes, half an hour. It's just inconvenient. It's annoying. Do you know what I mean? When I used the rapid charges, it was inconvenient. But 95% of my electric car use was home charge. It was super convenient. Home charging is more convenient than going to the petrol station for diesel. I am sick of going to the petty station to fill up the dirty diesel. Me 730 diesel. I'm sick of it. My wife home charges a Tesla Model 3. She hasn't been to the petrol station or the supercharger in 8 months. So there's the difference. When people say it's inconvenient to have an electric car, it is inconvenient if you can't home charge. The inconvenience of it is the rapid charging. Bro, when stop private hire? So cross-border hiring so far isn't stopping. As far as we're aware, it's just rumoured of what's going to happen in the future. Not everybody has a driveway, but that's it. If you haven't got a driveway, go and get a hybrid or get an electric car, But just be prepared. Rapid charging is a pain. Kieran on Facebook, do you think a wheelchair are worth getting? Depends if you can walk, mate. What type of question is that? If you can't walk, I'd get a wheelchair. If you can walk, I'd probably use your legs, Kieran. Whatever you do, stay away from Kia Proceed. They are crap. Are they? Yeah. Most common taxis in Belfast are the Skoda Octavia Superb, Toyota Corolla, RAV4, Prius hybrids, Mercedes V-Class, Vito, E-Class, C-Class, Ford Tornado, Audi A4 and Audi A6 are popular too. There's some good choices. So don't you have much Kia and Hyundais? Very popular Kia and Hyundais on the taxis now, especially with your full electrics. They should stop cross-border hiring drivers playing this system and making people like myself, who's going through 180 routes, written tests and verbal tests, when they can go and learn 40 routes and allowed to work in my area. MPs are being paid by Visu as an example to fund them so they won't stop it. That's crazy, mate, that, isn't it? It is unfair though, mate, you know what I mean? It is unfair. But they're not doing nothing wrong. Oh, do you? Kieran, wheelchair accessible vehicle, you mean, mate? Sorry, lad. Yeah, I'd say one thing that's not been getting replaced by driverless taxis are large minibuses, your big 16-seaters, and your wheelchair accessible vehicles. Because if there's a driverless taxi, I haven't got a clue how someone in a wheelchair is getting in it. So yeah, if you want to definitely future-proof the trade, then the WAVs could be the way forward, matey. What is a good option? Vehicle runs around 200 miles if going from Southampton to Gatwick return. So Victor, you want a full electric that runs 200 miles? Most do now. Ioniq 5, Kia EV5, Kia. Yeah, your Kias, your Hyundais, your Teslas. There's loads, mate. I can't even think. There's loads over 200 now, though. Rapid charging is a splash on and go. That's why home charging overnight on off-peak electricity is critical to keep costs as low as possible. If you don't have a driveway and want an EV, move house. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, matey. Kia Proceed straight petrol GT only gets 38 miles per gallon. Yeah, it's not the best cars for Uber, mate. Super's doing okay on my diesel. Supers are fantastic, mate. And like I said, as well, it's situational. If you're doing like loads of airport runs and loads of motorway, the Superb would be superb, mate. Do you know what I mean? If you bounce around on your local companies or your private hire or your Uber, the diesel Superb is probably not the best. It's a bit too big and expensive to run, isn't it? Blame David Cameron. Cross-border hire, he fucked it up. He did, Stuart. We all blame him. The drivers are not to blame, I get that, but I feel companies like Visu, Uber, etc. should only assign work based on the badge they have, which would stop them happening in the first place. National licence does not mean they can hire the drivers anyway. It means that they are allowed to earn in areas around the UK. So Reaper, the likes of Visu and Uber, they're never going to restrict cross-border hiring. They're never going to do anything that will benefit the driver from that point of view. Visu, Uber and Bolt need cross-border hiring and need councils like your Newcastle, like your Wolverhampton and stuff like that to operate. If you're thinking Visu or Uber or Bolt or anyone like that going to change cross-border hiring or the Deregulation Act, it's never going to happen. The only way it's happening if it comes from the council or the government. Will these have a decent boot space? And most airport runs need large boots for luggage. Will what, Victor? Sorry, mate. Yes, Ben. Sorry, mate. I might have missed someone. Where are we? Where are we? Sorry, mate. Joe, I missed that, lad. Sorry, mate. Listen, guys, all my comments come on the big screen on through Facebook, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. If you want to ask me anything important, guys, and you need a reply, you better come on over there, matey. Come to one of the other streams, mate, because otherwise I will miss your comments, mate. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, come on to one of those streams, because otherwise I'll miss your comments, guys. TikTok doesn't allow me to inject the comments into my big screen, so I do miss them. I do apologise. Will they have decent boot spaces? The electric vehicles, 200-mile range. Yeah, so if you want a big booted, full electric, I'd recommend the Ioniq 5 Hyundai. That's popular in the Northwest. Your Toyota, your Tesla Model Y, that's a massive one. There's loads of luggage, big boot. Do you know what I mean? There is quite a lot, mate. I'm not a big fan of the MG5. I think they're really uncomfortable when you sit in them. They're very low to the ground. Do you know what I mean? But loads of electric vehicles have got a big boot, mate. Local company I work for, West Midlands Ambulance, so we get patient transport. Nice, Kieran. Yeah, so a lot happens like that in Liverpool, mate. A lot of the local companies have contracts with the NHS, isn't it? And the hospitals and stuff like that. The councils then should be setting up processes to change that and have a system to show that is allowed to work with. So what people are saying is, David Cameron must, well, what people are saying, I'm not saying it, but David Cameron got a backhander off Uber to bring this rule in, so then Uber can spread. If cross-border hiring weren't in power, mate, Uber would never have got the hand on the country like they have done. They need cross-border hiring to operate, mate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, mate, you better come over on YouTube and ask that question, mate, just in case I missed it. Sorry, lad. Because when I've got two screens and multiple comments going off multiple streams, it's hard to keep up, mate. But yeah, I think the cross-border hiring thing, I think depends how they go about it. I reckon they could make things worse. I think they could make things better. Whatever happens, I don't think all drivers will like whatever happens. I think it's going to be like Marmite. You'd either love it or hate it. So whatever change comes in, there's going to be people peed off of it. And it's just going to be like that, whatever comes in. Because no one's ever going to be happy with the same choice. Because some people need and benefit from cross-border hiring. Some people hate it and despise it. And that's a problem with something as big as this. If or when it does come into effect, I think it would definitely be a Marmite scenario. By the way, I love Marmite. But realistically, how likely is that cross-border hiring will end? Unlikely. My personal opinion with cross-border hiring and how it'll go, I think we'll get like a Merseyside, Greater Manchester plate. It'll all under be one kind of umbrella. So there's not loads of little councils, all the little rules. So like if they give the power to the transport authorities, and then they'll bring a minimum standard across all those authorities. So they'll come out and go, right, every one of you authorities are going to have this minimum test, this minimum cost, this minimum vehicle restriction, and you've all got to follow it. I reckon that is the future of the changes of cross-border hiring and the Deregulation Act. I do not see them banning Wolverhampton out of Manchester or Knowsley out of Blackpool, etc., etc. I don't think that's going to happen to that scale, mate. Let me know in the comments what you think will happen. Cheers, Matty, for the chat. Enjoyed the chat. Have a good day. Off to earn some crush now. Go on, Victor. Go smash it, lads. Go smash it. Dynamic pricing is the issue, not cross-border hiring. Needs a minimum amount per mile. Phil, but they're not going to thingy, are they? Uber's the operator, and Uber's got the authority to dictate the pricing. Do you know what I mean? And the only way Uber was able to implement the dynamic pricing, mate, was with that court case that ADCU fought a few years ago. And it made all Uber drivers with workers' rights. That's what gave them the power, mate, to do the dynamic pricing. So whoever got behind that one is at fault, directly or indirectly. How can private hire drivers have one badge? That would mean open borders with hacks as well, which can't happen, obviously reasons. No, Sam, they can just separate it, can't they? Do you know what I mean? So, like, Liverpool, just say as an example, Liverpool, Sefton and Knowsley, yeah? You go and hand your badge into the council and you get a Merseyside badge. That type of vibe. Do you know what I mean? But if they give the power to the transport authorities, there won't be no Liverpool, Sefton or council, will there? There'll be Liverpool or Merseyside Transport Authority. And they will be given the badge out, won't they? One of the big benefits I see is if I get a trip to Man Airport, I can get work back. But House, that could be a thing. They could stop cross-border hiring, but still allow jobs back to your area. That would be the perfect world. But the problem with cross-border hiring now is if I live in Liverpool and Man United playing at home, I could drive up to Man United and work all day and night. That shouldn't be allowed. Do you know what I mean? There's lads that I've been told off in Kenny, in Liverpool, and there's like 8 of them, all from Birmingham, share a house in Kenny, and they come up over a weekend and work. Because Birmingham's obviously absolutely destroyed, with like Wolverhampton and Birmingham and all their badges. So yeah, there can be levels to the cross-border hiring and stopping with that. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, mate. Personally, the way forward is to make Liverpool one plate, Manchester one plate, Cheshire one plate, Staffordshire one plate, etc., etc. The local council should be the one who does the pricing each year. Yeah, but then you're just getting into, like, they're just hackneys then, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? The councils authorise the operators to dictate the pricing. But Kieran, it's up to the driver to choose to work for that operator. And that's what people aren't getting. The council goes to Uber. You can dictate your pricing because you're an operator. Uber goes, great stuff. Uber goes, we'll take 50% commission. We'll charge them £1 a mile, blah, 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 blah. Drivers, there you go. And the drivers got a choice to either take that or go to a different operator. Do you know what I mean? You can't expect local councils to change the way they do things just because of Uber. There's loads of companies and operators out there that love having the ability to control their own pricing, to be competitive with others, or whatever. Do you get me? Imagine every local operator in the country is on the same rate. That would just be weird, wouldn't it? I mean, it is up to the driver, though. That's what I thought. People try and strike and fight Uber and stuff. Uber's just an operator. Uber's just a supplier of work. Uber is just a company that gives us self-employed private hire drivers work. If you like the jobs that are coming through, take the jobs. If you don't like the jobs coming through, don't take the jobs. That's the benefits of private hire. Do you know what I mean? That's why I don't get in like the big strikes and fighting the power and getting Uber to try and change the ways. We are not employers of Uber. We are private hire drivers who get work from Uber as an operator. Just go and find another operator. Do you know what I mean? People are getting so upset and fed up working for Uber on a bad rate, so they think they're bad rates, so they're not happy. Just go and get happy elsewhere, guys. That is the best advice I'd give anyone. Honestly. I'm not bothered what people have paid as long as I'm happy with what's on the screen. That's it, mate. That's it. Superman, right. Put Uber aside or whatever. I'll be like, Superman, can you come round mine tonight and cook me tea? I'll give you the tenner. You're going to go, is it worth going round Matty's to cook his tea? For the tenner? And you're going to go, no, it's not worth it. What do? You just don't come round and cook me tea, do you? You don't come back at me with a counter offer. Do you know what I mean? Try and get me sued. Mental, mate. It does drive me insane. Like. Local don't want to spend big on a car due to hardware and tear caused by private hire usage. The public don't respect your car at all. Spill, piss, shit, and then without the 40 efforts. Yeah, true, mate. So I won't see my town with Wolverhampton Beach. No, you still see a town filled with Wolverhampton drivers, Christian. Nothing's changed of us yet. I'm just talking about the whole scenario. Worth a try, Matty. I a Hackney just outside London, but a normal saloon car, E20 diesel AMG. Nice, mate. Nice. If Uber drivers want more control of pricing, wouldn't it be better off getting a Hackney licence? Sam, if Uber drivers want more control over prices, they either go to a different operator, they either set up their own operator, or like you say, go and get a Hackney licence where your prices on the meter is dictated by the council. That is it. That's it, your choices. It should be a minimum rate rather than a control of rates, a bit like a minimum wage, otherwise it can be exploited. I know, mate, but that's the whole point of being private eyes, bear. Change. Nice one, Kieran. See you in a bit, matey. Pop, drivers have signed the new conditions. If you don't like it, leave. Plenty more operators about, so set your own up. There's so many choices with your private hire operator, your private hire license, guys. It is. It's mental. Problem with Uber is the severe underpricing. They make people think we're overcharging at the old rate. Uber's not cheap. Uber is not cheap. Charging the passengers, they're not that cheap. Especially on your Uber XL and your Uber XX, they're not cheap. Just drivers think they're cheap because what they're seeing. Uber is not cheap, mate. Uber used to be cheap. Do you know what I mean? It used to be cheap, Uber. It's not that cheap now. Is Bolt cheaper, is it? Yeah, let's see. Bolt's not here, but let me just have a quick look now. Let's go Lime Street Station to Manchester Airport. Now, UberX is cheap because they know it's just the lowest. Yeah. Right, guys. Can you see that? Yeah. I'll tell you. Lime Street Station in Liverpool to Manchester Airport, 64 quid in an UberX. Right? Local operators are charging 65 to 70. Right? Uber Comfort is 76. Uber XL, by the way, Uber XL is literally a Ford Galaxy, or along those lines, is 107 quid. Local private hire airport transfer companies in Liverpool are charging 90s, 95. Exec XXL, which is your Vitos and your V classes, is 110. Exec is 108. You got V classes in Liverpool doing man airs for 75 quid. So when you say Uber's cheap, it is not. It's cheap to the driver because how much commission they take. Mental. Uber's not cheap no more. That includes the toll. That's what, yeah, it does. But what I'm trying to say, mate, if you look at like DM airport transfers or local private hire operators, we're all around a similar price. From Liverpool to Manchester Airport on DM airport transfers is 100 quid in a minibus. And that's like a Ford Tornado, large, 7-seater, 7-passenger, 10 cases, minibus, 100 quid. Or you can get a Ford Galaxy on Uber XL for 110. Honestly, mate, it's nowhere near as flipping expensive as it used to be. It's just the drivers are not seeing that money. And that's where the big thing is. People think Uber's cheap because the drivers see the price that they're getting. It's not cheap, mate. Do you know what I mean? The problem is, it's not the driving. It's not. The problem is, Matty, they're not paying the driver properly. Yeah, Bradley. That's the issue. It's not how much they're charging the passenger. By the way, that price that I've just shown you is at 11 a.m. on a Monday. It's not even a morning rush hour when the demand's higher. No, 64 quid plus drop off. No, mate. They charge the customer. Obviously everything up front. So that 64 quid is including the drop off. Still cheap though, mate. Local private eye airport transfer companies are charging 65 to 70, depending on the company, for a car. And that's including the toll. Uber's probably more expensive than locals, 100%. Hey, anyone work for Alpha? What's Alpha's man now? Is it still 65 or has it gone up? So Alpha is a local company and they'll be cheaper than Uber now. Honestly, but people think Uber's that cheap. They're not. I know drivers on locals earning 1,100 quid on local. Yeah, they will do, mate. Shouldn't you get a cap commission and all that, mate? You're flying. Unfortunately, they got the monopoly. That's the problem. Yeah, Mr. Grafter. That is the problem, mate. Is they come in super cheap and they sold the public how cheap they are. And now they're not cheap no more. Do you know what I mean? But people still come to Liverpool and go, I'll just use Uber while I'm here. Not knowing that Uber's more expensive than local companies now. Do you know what I mean? Mad, isn't it? Isn't it mad? And by the way, guys, that was off peak. That was off peak. When that was off peak. Do you know what? I might actually do a dedicated live stream to Uber pricing comparing local operator pricing, because I think that would be very interesting, guys. I think that'd be very interesting to see the difference. Do you know what I mean? Because that was at 11 a.m. on a Monday. Imagine doing that same journey, half 8 this morning. I reckon it could have been 80, 90 quid, mate. Easily. Isn't that crazy? What happens across border? Nothing, mate. Nothing's changed, mate, as of yet. We're just talking about the situation. Do you know what I mean? We're just talking about what happens, what if, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? But listen, like I said, guys, I only normally do like an hour and a half, something like that, 2 hours. So I might be finishing up about 11:30, guys. Loads to do today. Loads to do. So, yeah, we'll be finishing up soon. What's the best car if I'm trying to do airport transfers and Delta on the side, 10k under? Asmin, don't be doing airport transfers without an operator's license, mate, or you will lose your license, mate, and you'll get done for no insurance. You can't be doing airport transfers, mate, on the sly. The people will pay more because of convenience, and they'll be happy to pay a little bit more as well. I disagree. Spare change. I'd rather, if I had a choice personally, to rely on an on-demand service or a pre-booked guaranteed service, I'd go for the pre-booked guaranteed service. I'd pay more for that. I'd pay more for the local. I'll pay more for the pre-booked service than I would for on-demand. Because if I woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning, if I wake up at 5 in the morning, I want to make sure there's a car waiting for me outside. Do you know what I mean? Marty, not the same everywhere. Up here, airports or Uber are cheaper than locals by a lot. Mine up to Newcastle's 54, Uber's 36, standard car. Marty, it's only because you're quite new up there, aren't you? You're a year or two behind us, aren't you? I remember when you'd log on every morning, I'd be surging, 100%, mate, getting hungry. Oh, yeah. Go on, my big fans here. Tan Chowdhury, or whatever your name is. What's your problem, out of area working drivers mind your business? I haven't got a problem with out of area working drivers mind your business. That is discussing a subject matter of the issue. I have not got an opinion on what I think of it. So calm down on the capitals, Mr. Tan. I'm getting a Skoda Superb. What yours brand new when you got it? No, mate. I got the old shape Skoda Superb. I think it was a 2009 at the time, 2010, and then I got, was it a 72 plate or 73 plate? Skoda Superb Estate plug-in hybrid, brilliant. Other than the Tesla Model S, the Skoda Superb plug-in hybrid Estate was one of my favourites. It was unbelievable, mate. Asman, I have an operator license. Sound, mate? So under 10k, car best in your opinion? Anywhere, anything. Something with a big boot and good mile per gallon, mate. There's so many ones to actually tell you. Yeah, mate, honestly, Tesla Model 3, brilliant. Brilliant. What's going on with cross-border hiring? Nothing at the moment, Clipper. That's just the subject of the live stream. So each live stream I do, I pick a subject to talk about to start a conversation. Do you know what I mean? So like, is it worth working for Uber? Do you know what I mean? Are Hackney's coming back? Do you know what I mean? Is it worth going full electric over diesel? They're just discussion starters, mate. Nothing's changed with cross-border hiring as of yet. It might not even never happen. Do you get me? It's just a conversation starter. Just for the heck of it, wonder how many drivers watching actually sitting out of area at the moment, or have worked out of area yesterday. I'm 40 miles south of my licensed area and having a decent morning. That's it, Matty. Do you know what I mean? But I've said you, obviously I know you personally, I've said from day one, mate, out of area taxi drivers, there's not a problem with them. They're doing exactly what's best for them. Great stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's not the issue with out of area driving. It's more the fact of the legislation and stuff. Like, look at the lads in Sheffield. Because I'd be fuming, mate, if I was in Sheffield. Kyle took a year to get his badge. He had to do a physical driving test to get his badge. His car has got to be 5 years or newer. The rules and regulations in Sheffield are so strict. But while you're working in Sheffield, you can get a Wolverhampton driver on Bolt. In the 14-year-old Toyota Yaris, who didn't have to do a driving test, who didn't have to do all this rules and regulations. That's where cross-border hiring becomes a bit salty. Because local drivers are like, that just cost me £1,000. It took me a year. It was dead hard. It was 4 attempts. And then you got bloody Barry flying around like that in his little Toyota Yaris. With no door signs on, by the way, because he doesn't have to have one. In the same city, he spends all that money and all that hard work to do it. And that's what causes the conflict, mate. Do you know what I mean? Why don't he get a Wolverhampton? Why he went to Sheffield? It's his home. Sheffield. It's his own fault. Because he doesn't want a Wolverhampton. He shouldn't have to go to Wolverhampton, mate. Do you know what I mean? Is the Volvo S90 exec? I think so, mate. If you Google Uber accepted vehicles and then put your area in the top, it shows you all the vehicles, what are accepted and what year for comfort and exec. A pre-2023 Skoda Superb Estate is a crack and buy. Plenty of room and a decent economy. I'd say over 16 plate. 16 plate in newer for the Skoda Superb's brilliant. That shape is lovely. Tan, you want the legislation to change so you can get more money, is it? Tan, do us a favour, mate. You're making no sense, lad. I don't want the legislation to change so I can make more money. I think, mate, you haven't got a clue what's going on. Marty, my message got stopped by the mod. Why weren't you behaving, Marty? You gotta be good, lad. These mods will get you. I'm not controlling anything, just the mods will get you. Just to be accurate, Wolves max car age is 12. Is it, Mark? That's actually not awful. So can you have a 13-year-old car in Wolves? You have to go and get a new car. Liverpool hasn't got an age limit. That's what I'm trying to say about different councils. Crazy, mate. Liverpool, my car's 13 years old and mine's plated. I've just got to get a 6 monthly plate instead of 12 month because of the age of the car. Seems like you don't have any proper work to do. Mate, I run a nationwide business, my friend. Hey, I am a very busy guy. Just because I don't drive a car every day doesn't mean I'm not working. Cheeky monkey. Sometimes, mate, I'd rather just be just like that, driving all day. So much flipping easier. I'm telling you. Is the Corolla estate exec? No, Tony. Toyota isn't exec at all, mate. If you want exec, you got to stick to like your Mercs and your Beamers, and you got to go big, like your 5 Series, your E-Class. But sometimes, mate, if you're doing Uber, it's not worth you going for Uber exec, mate, because the expenses are dead high. Can you get a Wolverhampton plate and apply for a local council while you're waiting? Ibby, I've said this, like a few of the lads that I know that are in Liverpool that are plated with like Wolverhampton or out of the area. I say to them, while you're working, while you're earning money, apply for your local council. I would, personally, if I was plated out of area, just to be safe, just to cover myself, just in case something changes in the future. Do you know what I mean? You can go and get your own badge and get your own local badge while still working and earning money. I would say that is the best advice to anyone who's licensed out of area, just in case something mad happens in the future that we don't know is going to happen yet. Do you know what I mean? But why not? I am Holton, Hackney and Sefton. Come on, lad. But why though? Why too? You need a car to tow a caravan as well. You're probably best, Tony, then with a Skoda Superb, mate. 2 litre diesel, something like that. Uber prices lower new markets to gain market share. When they have established dominant position, Uber will gradually increase prices to customers and lower offers to drivers. What's the challenge? That's what I mean, commuter. So Martin up in the northeast is saying Uber's super cheap compared to local operators. That's only because they've only been hitting Newcastle for a few years. Do you know what I mean? As soon as they've got the full market in northeast, you are right, the prices will rise. Martin, sitting in a 10-year-old car with 300,000 miles on the clock, no door signs, private hire test was 20 multiple choices with law of averages as you take 3 times and statistically you'll get a 65% chance pass. That's it, Martin. Do you know what I mean? But if you went to a different council in your area, it might have been a lot harder and a lot easier. It's mad, isn't it? More people using Comfort. Uber Comfort killed Uber Exec. It did. I was Uber Exec when there was no Comfort. And Uber Exec was a nice step up from your standard Uber X's. Do you know what I mean? Because you get your little cars, you get your little small cars, and people are like, I don't want a small car. Let's go for something bigger, something nicer. I'll go for Exec. So they pay the extra for Exec back in the day. Soon as they brought out Uber Comfort, that killed Exec. Do you know what I mean? If you're looking for a new vehicle, I'd try and get Comfort over Exec. Because these days, if you want something nicer than Uber Exec, Uber X, you go Comfort, you don't go Exec. Is still cross-border hiring stopping? No one knows, mate. It's just a discussion of the stream, mate. It's just a discussion of the stream, matey. No one actually knows. Morning, T. Listen, mate, I know you're saying morning, but I'm going in a minute. But don't forget, guys, I'm live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. till around 11:30 midday. That is my live stream, guys. So if you're interested in joining on the next discussion, make sure you feel free to do so. So we hit the follow button. Come over on YouTube or Twitch. There with the big screen. That's well better for you to watch on the big screen, guys. Yeah? YouTube and Twitch is probably the 2 best ones to watch it on. But if not, watch it on what you're watching it on. But make sure you hit the follow button, guys. Alright? It's half the follows, it's half the likes, and the subscribes. Tan, the best place for private hire driver in UK is London. People making 1,200 quid a week. Tan, a decent driver in London can lift 1,200 quid in 3 days. Commuter, just don't talk to Tan. Burning me head out. Tan's doing me nothing. Matty, English test was fantastic. Sat down on a computer for a test. Woman came over, asked what I was doing for the rest of the day, and I asked me to start the test. After I spoke to her, she explained if you can't have a conversation with her, you fail. Is that it? Yeah. So if she walks over and goes, "How are you? You're all right," and you go, "Good, good," you pass your test. No way. Yes, Johnny, how are we, mate? I'm thinking of getting into private hire East Cheshire. Any tips or mistakes to avoid when starting out? Johnny, just do your due diligence before you join the trade, mate. I'm not here putting anyone off. Try before you jump in. But I know a lot of people are struggling on the private hires at the moment, Johnny. So just be very carefully jumping in the trade, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's very situational. Works for some people, doesn't work for others, mate. But if you've got like a good full-time job paying good money, be very careful jumping in, mate. But all you can do is try it, mate. But it's a lot of hassle to try because you've got to go and get your badge and all that. It's after likes and follows, guys. It's after all the gifts as well. All the gifts on TikTok. All the little presents and the little hearts. Thank you for all that. It helps out a lot, so much appreciated. Commuter, I can make £1,000 in 3 days if I want to sit 12 hours a day in the car and live in the Shires. Good money made down in London, innit? But I'm guessing, obviously, with London comes big expenses, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's probably dead expensive to live down your way, innit? Do you know what I mean? Paul, cheers, Matty. Catch you on Wednesday, hopefully. Paul, I'll be on Wednesday around 10 a.m, mate. Same time every time. Trying to get a bit of a routine now. But there'll be a new subject on the live. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what it's going to be yet. But yeah, there'll be a new subject on the live. It just gives something people to come in and talk about it. Mike, hopefully Keir Starmer will be on the taxis this week. I don't know much about politics, mate. Is he getting sacked, is he, or something? Hey. Black cabs give Uber hassle. Do they, mate? Yeah. Well, listen, beautiful people, I think we'll call it a day. Like Commuter said before, I'm getting hungry. So, yeah, I think I'm going to call it a day, and I've got about 1 million notifications to go through. Right, guys, listen, it's been emotional. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday, 10 a.m. And thanks very much for tuning in, as always. Thanks for all the love on the channels and the support on the channels. It does help me out massively. It really does. A little like, a little follow, a little subscribe. Honestly, just helps out massively. Do you know what I mean? At the moment, I'm very office-based. I'm running the airport transfer company. I'm running a few businesses and stuff like that. So the content helps me out and ticks me over, and that's so much appreciated. All the love, guys, yeah? Thank you very much. Yeah, much appreciated. Right, my beautiful people. It's been emotional. 10 a.m. Wednesday. See you there.